Hi there! I hope you are doing great and you are ready for 5 new words. But before we get down to these words, to this new set of words, I have a couple of serious questions for you and I really hope that you'll be able to help me. So, my first question. My boyfriend no longer loves me. What shall I do? My second question. I don't love sport. I've tried yoga, Pilates, karate, boxing, swimming, you name it. Nothing works for me. So are there any other ways to lose weight? Number 3. Are you a savvy computer user? Because I'm not. Number 4. This is a serious one. I've got a lot of limiting beliefs. How do I leave them behind? And the last one. I love drawing, but my pictures are a far cry from being perfect. So how do I improve my drawing technique? Write your answers in the comments below. I really need them. And if you can't understand what I was talking about, then you need to go to episode 1, because there in this episode we were learning all these words. And now, let's get down to business. Oh yes, I have almost forgotten. One very important thing, we have subtitles, so in case sometimes it's difficult for you to understand what I'm saying, вы всегда можете включить субтитры, но старайтесь этого не делать. For our today's episode, I've prepared some really nice, some really interesting words and phrases for you, so I really hope that you'll love them.
I've been keeping it safe from prying eyes.
To keep them from prying eyes.
And our first expression is away from prying eyes. Away from prying eyes means to be somewhere far away that people cannot see you. Now let's learn to pronounce this word correctly. Away from prying eyes. 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 Remember that you need to repeat this word several times in order to get comfortable with the word. You can say it slowly. Away from prying eyes. Or you can whisper it. Away from prying eyes. Don't forget that in English language, all the words are linked in the sentence. Away from prying eyes. And we pronounce word prying a little bit higher than all the other words. Away from prying eyes. Away from prying eyes. So now let's have a look at this word in the context. For example, she's finally able to relax with her friends. Away from prying eyes. I've got some secret letters. You should keep them away from prying eyes. I'm so tired of all these people. Let's hide somewhere away from prying eyes. And now step number 4. You know it's my favorite. So let's watch some videos with this phrase. And remember that you need to repeat what you hear and you need to copy intonation, gestures, emotions, facial expressions.
Lovers encrypt their messages to keep them from prying eyes.
Lovers encrypt their messages to keep them away from prying eyes. From prying eyes.
I've been keeping it safe from prying eyes.
I've been keeping it safe. I've been keeping it safe from prying eyes. I've been keeping it safe from prying eyes.
In case you're making private calls that you don't want anyone else to find out about, you can hide those from any prying eyes.
You can hide those from any prying eyes. You can hide those, away from any prying eyes. And now, you know it. The most important part. Step number 5, use it in the examples of your own. I don't want to be a celebrity because, if you're famous, it's so difficult to keep away from prying eyes. Nah, I don't want that. Don't forget that you need to make your own examples. You're not listeners, you are doers. Because you cannot learn the language by listening. You need to do it, you need to practice it yourself. It's very important.
Just recap our options, right? We've got...
So to recap on these products.
So our next word is recap, and I really love this word. Recap means to repeat all the main points, all the most important information of everything that have been just said. For example, just to recap, today we discussed weather, climate, ecological situation, and population. Pronunciation, that's super easy. Recap. The stress is on the first syllable. It's recap. Just to recap. And now let's have a look at this word in the context. Let me just recap what we have discussed so far. You can hear this word a lot if you watch different TEDx videos or if you watch different lectures in English on YouTube. I'm sure, just try it. And I can guarantee you that you'll hear this word like 99%. We can also use on after recap on something. So she paused to recap on the story so far. And one more. Finally, the teacher recapped the main points of the lesson. So now, let's have a look at this word in the video context.
Okay. Let's just recap our options, right? We've got.
This is my most favorite series. Don't forget, it's very important to copy the gestures. Okay. Let's just recap on our options.
So just to recap, the spaces.
So just to recap, the spaces and so on and so forth. So just to recap.
So to recap on these productivity tips, tip number 1.
So to recap on these productivity tips, tip number 1, blah, blah, blah. Tip number 2, blah, 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 and so on. So just to recap. So like, I want to repeat everything. I want to repeat the most important information. And now, step number 5. Just to recap. We've looked at the pronunciation, meaning, use in the context, and some video examples.
Economically a no-brainer.
This is a no-brainer. It's the best thing for you.
This is another great word. No-brainer. No-brainer. So we use this word when we're speaking about something super easy, like it's a no-brainer. You don't even need to think about it. It's so easy. So it's a no-brainer. Now, pronunciation. No-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Don't forget to repeat it after me and get comfortable with the word. No-brainer. No-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like, you don't need to think about it. It's so easy. It's a no-brainer. Let's have a look at this word in the context. Joining the savings plan is a no-brainer. Just do it. It's super easy. If you ask me, it's a no-brainer. Of course you should accept the job. There is nothing to think about. It's a no-brainer. Oh, that seems like a no-brainer to me. Super easy. And step number 4.
This will be economically a no-brainer.
So this will be economically a no-brainer. So from economical point of view, from the point of view of economics, it's going to be very easy. No-brainer. Oh, what a handsome man.
This is a no-brainer. It's the best thing for you and your family.
This is a no-brainer. It's the best thing for you and your family.
It's a no-brainer, really.
It's a no-brainer, really. It's a no-brainer, really. This is a great one. I like when people have thick accents because it really sounds very interesting and I can't help copying them. Now, step number 5. Oh, come on. It's a no-brainer. He's a great guy. You definitely should marry him. Come on, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, and remember that gestures, intonation, facial expression, all of these are really important.
Very lucrative opportunity.
My lucrative but painful accounting job.
Wow, we are doing really great. We've come to word number 4, lucrative. Lucrative means very profitable. So if something is lucrative, it brings you a lot of money. Like it can be a lucrative business, lucrative job, lucrative idea, and so on. Pronunciation: lucrative, 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 lucrative. So remember, many different intonations. And now the examples. He inherited a lucrative business from his father. He inherited, so he got a lucrative business from his father. Many of the engineers left their jobs for lucrative business abroad. So many engineers left their jobs for more lucrative business in other countries, for more lucrative business abroad. And we can also say they do a lot of business in lucrative overseas market. So there are some lucrative markets overseas and they do their business there. So now let's have a look at this word in the video context.
You are getting a once-in-a-lifetime, very lucrative opportunity.
You are getting once in a lifetime a very lucrative opportunity. So don't miss it.
And during this time, I decided to leave my lucrative but painful accounting job.
And during this time, I decided to leave my lucrative but painful accounting job.
Robin Williams and Steve Martin had lucrative movie careers based on their success as stand-up.
So they had their lucrative movie careers based on their success in stand-up. So based on their success in stand-up. They had their lucrative movie careers based on their success in stand-up. And now the examples of your own. I didn't think that teaching online would be such a lucrative business. Don't forget that you are doing that as well. So you're not just listening, but you're practicing. So you have to make your own examples.
It just wouldn't have been feasible.
It's just not feasible. I mean, it'd be pretty...
So, and our last word for today is feasible. So something that is feasible is possible to do. It can be done. So it can be done and it's likely to work. It's likely to succeed. So pronunciation, it's feasible, feasible, feasible. For example, a feasible idea or economically feasible, politically feasible, and so on. So let's have a look at the use in the context. It's no longer financially feasible to keep the center open. It's no longer financially feasible. See, no longer. It's no longer financially feasible. So it doesn't make any sense. We cannot keep the center open. We should close it. It's no longer financially feasible, so we cannot afford that. It's not feasible to have security cameras in every part of the building. It's just not possible. It's not feasible to have security cameras in every part of the building. It's just not feasible to manage a business on a part-time basis. So if you decided to manage a business, you have to be present there all the time. You have to commit to it. So it's just not feasible to manage a business on a part-time basis. And some video examples.
Russ, it just wouldn't have been feasible.
Russ, it just wouldn't have been feasible. Russ, it just wouldn't have been feasible.
It's just not feasible. I mean, it'd be pretty cool. I would feel really awesome.
Oh, I just love her. It's just not feasible. I mean, it would be pretty cool. I'd feel awesome, but it's just not feasible.
It's not easy, but it is feasible.
It's not easy, but it is feasible. It's not easy, but it is feasible, so it's possible to do it. And now your own examples. And mine is, it's not feasible to learn a language if you study only once a week. So it's very important to practice as much as you can. And don't forget that we have these videos 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please subscribe and don't miss the videos. Okay, the funny part is that I was so proud of myself that I finished recording this video very quickly and I was finally free and could have my dinner. And then only after I finished my dinner, I realized that I forgot about the final part. So here I am again. So now we need to recap everything we have learned today. Our first expression is away from prying eye. Prying eyes. So when we pry, we want to see some information like prysjuruemse, prying eye, away from prying eyes. Now recap, you know, the cap that we wear on our hat. So we kind of want to recap everything, so to put all the most important information under the cap, recap everything. So summarize everything. No-brainer, that's easy, no-brainer. So you don't even need to use your brain, so no-brainer, it's super easy. Lucrative, you can think about onion, look. So to grow onion, to grow look, is a very lucrative business. And feasible, well, it sounds like fee, but in fact it's possible, something feasible, something that we can do. I don't know how to remember it. Feasible, it's just a funny word. Feasible, something like that. So think maybe you have some ideas and you can write them down in the comments below. And this is finally it. This time is for sure. And I see you next time. See you on Monday. Bye bye. Have a great day.